Newcastle City Council regular meeting of Monday, March 4th, 2024 to order. Please rise for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Can I get the approval of the agenda? I do have one amendment to make under citizens business verbal. Number 1, it is not Black Hills Energy, but Par Pacific Wyoming Refining.
I move we accept the amended agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Can I get approval of the minutes of the regular meeting and executive session of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Any nominations for recognition? No certificates to hand out. So citizens business verbal, Nicole McFarland.
I'm going to have Wyatt Walker and Michael Browning present you all with the second installment of the pump track check from Wyoming Refining Company, $50,000. Mayor, hold on, Wyatt, I gotta get my camera ready.
You want it staged?
Where's the big check?
I know, that's what we were just
Yeah.
talking about.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. We're excited.
Absolutely. I'll send it to you.
Well, since,
It's not a good one.
What?
It's on my cell phone.
Camera, whoever.
Nicole,
It's on my cell
I
phone.
can give a little update on it while you're
That'd be great.
here. So we had a meeting, what was it, last month and a half ago? And it went really well with Tallgrass. They're getting the suggestions and revamping their first little outline that they gave us. So hopefully we'll have a bigger, nice presentation of what the park will look like. And once we get that, we'll make sure you guys get a copy of it.
Hey, we know when we're in the break ground.
Well, I know that the bed sprockets are moving some stuff around now for that aspect of it.
Okay.
I talked with Justin Stever today in regards to, the dirt work
Sure.
and moving of dirt and trying to get dirt there. But that's as far as we're at right
Okay.
now.
I'll
So,
shoot him an email and tell him to keep me updated so we can
Yeah.
come maybe get a photo
Yeah.
up.
for sure,
Okay.
so.
Awesome.
And I'll let you know when I'm waiting to hear from Matt with Tallgrass to schedule the next meeting with the Parks Committee. So I'll make sure that you know when that is.
Cool.
So,
Sounds great.
thank you. We can't appreciate this as any more than we do, so. it's
You're welcome.
amazing. It's gonna
Hopefully
be
we can
great.
continue.
It'll be great for the community for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to citizens' business in writing. We have 2 sewer forgivenesses. I can read them both at the same time. If the-
Yeah, I do too. How you're gonna read those both at the same time?
I'll read each letter one after the other, if that's okay. So the first one is from Kip and Jerry Dopp. Our home at 23034 US Highway 85 has suffered a water line break in the garage where the city water enters the home. We have not had renters in the home for the last several months, and the leak went unnoticed until the neighbors saw water running out of the garage and called the city. Thankfully, they came right away and shut the water off in the manhole. Heather has been very helpful and suggested I write a letter to the city council asking for sewer forgiveness to see if we can get the water bills up for January and February reduced. The break spanned both months' billing cycle. We would appreciate any help you can offer, as we have not had the rental income and still need to cover taxes, insurance, and utilities. Thank you, Kip and Jerry Dopp. And then they're asking for a forgiveness of $200.91. And then the second letter is from David and Joni Katchelhofer. Dear Mayor Gualtieri and City Council members, I'm writing to request forgiveness for part of our water sewer garbage bill due March 15th, 2024. My husband David and I left on a month-long trip January 17th when it was terribly cold with the temperatures below zero. We had people check on our house every few days. On January 29th, our house sitter reported that our water pressure was very, very low. On January 30th, David called the city and asked if someone could check the pressure reducing valve in the water meter pit. When Bob opened the meter pit, he found the meter was spinning like crazy, so he took a look around the outside of the house to see if he could figure out what was going on, and discovered that our backyard looked like a lake. He thankfully promptly contacted us for permission to turn off the water. Eventually, we figured out that the water faucet on the back side of the house had not been winterized. It had frozen in the Arctic weather, and the pipe to the faucet broke when the weather warmed up and things thawed out. Our house sitter fixed the problem, and Bob turned our water back on March 1st. The leak caused our water usage to be about 35,000 gallons. Our house was built around 1900 and does not have a basement. Our structure rests on a large chamber supported by sandstone blocks. We have a dirt cellar that holds our furnace and water heater. All the water that escaped from the burst pipe ran into the ground in the backyard or into our dirt cellar and leached into the soil. We are asking for forgiveness for the sewer charges associated with the water usage from the burst pipe. If you have any questions, please contact us. Sincerely, Joni and David Katzelhofer, and they're asking for a forgiveness of $155.65.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve both of these forgiveness for Kip Dopp and for David and Joni Katchelhofer.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It didn't go down the sewer, did it? Right?
I don't recall what we had found.
It wasn't a backyard.
I would have to look into it a little more. We had so many at that time frame that I don't recall these two in particular, so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Mayor, council member reports. Oh, I was gonna see about how we have our standing committees. I was thinking that maybe with everything that's been going on and the fact that the boards have to have training, and we've had boards come and ask for permission, or citizens coming in to ask for permission to be on boards, if maybe we should add maybe boards to our committee meetings. Since we're gonna have that training on the 11th.
That might be a good idea, you know, where maybe we can vet or maybe look at the applications before they come to here, or try to get applicants out for the boards, to review for the boards.
They opened it up to everybody, but there's a $20 fee for some of the boards.
Well, I know that's the training, but I know that we haven't had any issues recently, knock on wood, but we've had issues in the past with boards and people on the same boards, that I was wondering with the changes with legislation, if it'd be a good idea to have a committee where we kind of are in contact with the boards a little bit more regularly, since some of them are getting funds from the city.
So you wanna form a new committee out of us?
Well, we could either add it to one of the standing committees that are there, or add a new,
Committee?
yeah.
Well, that's kinda up to you, isn't it?
Well, it's up to all of us, not just,
Oh, okay. Well, if you were gonna put it on a standing committee, we just,
well, we have our standing,
Yeah.
so, but you know, we have a joint powers board now for dispatch, we have the planning and zoning board, we have the rec board, we have, you know,
The
the
airport
chamber,
board.
airport board. We just have a lot of boards out there that,
So you're suggesting that we add a standing committee that gives some oversight to some of the existing boards?
correct.
And I think that's a fine idea myself, because we don't have enough contact with those boards.
Absolutely, I agree. That was my question, see, I just wasn't so eloquent as you were.
Oh, well, I mean, I would volunteer to be on that, because I don't want anybody else to have to be put out.
I mean, does it look like something we would want to add to one of the boards that we have now? I was thinking kind of like maybe under, not really personnel, but if you look at your standing committee reports, does it feel like it fits under one of those? Or,
I mean, just based on the reaction that it elicited just now, I would think that maybe you would just make a separate board and then take volunteers. That would be my suggestion, Madam Mayor.
does anybody want to volunteer to be on that board if we accept it?
Oh, I just did.
He did. Do we have any boards on?
board.
I'm not too many boards.
That, I think, there's just some disconnect sometimes with the boards and that. When they come in, we're not really knowing what they're doing.
I don't know.
And sometimes if they're missing people, we don't know maybe if they've got an issue going on with the board. And if they do have people that's wanting to get on that, I think it should be a kind of a first review of the applicants wanting to be on the board.
No, I think that's a great idea, and I think that, just like situations that arose the other day when we weren't sure who the people that applied to be on the planning and zoning committee were, that it would be nice to be involved somehow so that we can see
So are we gonna
who
have
the
a
folks are.
committee that's a board committee?
I think it should be. board-
And
the
then
city
have
boards.
meetings with all of the boards, or what?
Maybe periodic meetings, I
It
don't
could
know.
be, it might be nice to get like the quarterly updates that we're asking from these boards.
One of the things we're gonna have to watch out for is, under this new thing where they have to be trained, if they're on a board, they can't get any federal money, or, I don't know, if it includes city or
Right.
not.
Well, I did have the city clerk, or we talked about making sure that all the boards, the rec board, the planning and zoning, all of them know about that training on Monday. But I just think it's a good way that we also as a council know that these members had that training, before, or citizens have that training before they're on that board or they're signed up to have that training. So, it's,
Well, Ann's got a good question coming here, that, okay, we got how many boards? I mean, we got rec board, the Mondale Airport, the
planning and zoning.
planning and zoning.
Well, you can kind of include the chamber.
Yeah, so you got,
The joint powers board, if we need to.
you just volunteered for a whole bunch there, dude. I'm not.
Yeah.
They are.
So there's quite a bit, that I would, like we have the police committee by itself, I would probably put the suggestion of having the boards committee by itself too. That's quite a bit.
I don't, is it your intent, Madam Mayor, that this board attend every meeting that's
No.
conducted?
No, I think it's
So
just, I think it's just good to have like maybe, like I said, a quarterly meeting, getting an update from the boards on how things are going.
And then providing a report to the council.
During standing.
They-
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
So.
Do we need a motion then?
Yeah.
I move that we add a boards committee to our standing committees.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I think this is a great idea, and if we're providing subsidies to these boards, then it would be good for us to have some kind of oversight, other than just the annual report when they come to ask for money.
We'll come back to get the motion because we have a hearing at 7:15. So we'll come back to that.
I move we leave the general council and go to the hearing.
So we have a public hearing as advertised at 7:15 to renew liquor license. So we have notice of applications, renewal of retail liquor license 2024 to 2025. This notice is hereby given that on the first day of February 2024, the following 8 retail liquor license, 1 club license, 2 bar and grill license, 1 restaurant license, filed applications for renewal of their liquor license. Protest, if there be any, against the issuance of these licenses will be heard at the hour of 7:15 p.m. on Monday, March 4th, 2024 in the Newcastle City Council chambers at City Hall, Newcastle, Wyoming. Liquor license number 1 is Perkins Tavern, LLC, doing business as Perkins Tavern, Lot 6, Block 10, original town site. Liquor license number 2 is Shortstop, number 1, LLC, doing business as Shortstop Fuel Mart, a tract of land in the northeast southwest of section 30. T45N R61 West, 6 p.m. Weston County. Full description is available. Liquor license number 3 is Stucker's Food Center of Newcastle Inn, doing business as Smoke Shop Liquor. Liquor license number 4 is Cap and Bottle LLC, doing business as Cap and Bottle. Liquor license number 5 is D&D Holding, Newcastle LLC, doing business as Decker's Wine and Spirits. Liquor license number 6 is Mini Mart Inc., doing business as Loaf and Jug. Liquor license number 7 is BW Gas and Convenience Retail LLC, doing business as Yesway. Liquor license number 8 is Maverick Inc., doing business as Maverick. Bar and Grill number 1, Isabella's LLC, doing business as Isabella's. Bar and Grill number 2, Newcastle Lodge Convention Center LLC, doing business as Grazer's Burgers and Beer. We have a club license number 1, Newcastle Country Club, doing business as Newcastle Country Club. Restaurant number 7, Frida's House Mexican Food LLC, doing business as Frida's House Mexican Food.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the renewal retail liquor licenses for 2024-2025.
We're in special session, can we do that?
You just did that.
We didn't have to go out of.
Well, nobody voted for it.
Well, that's, we didn't have to go out, it's just normal.
That's right, I forgot.
I seconded it.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question for our police department. Does any of these people that you know of in our police department have any issues with selling booze to children or other such things?
Nothing has been brought to our attention, no.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
See, if I could move, we go into special session.
Okay,
can go in your
so
own well there if you want.
we'll go back to the board committee. We were in discussion. Is there any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. So as of right now for the board committee, I do have Ty and Donnie on there. Okay. I don't have any other discussion. discussion under mayor and council, does anyone else?
Yeah, I could add something down there. I attended a rec board meeting the other day. It was actually one of the first rec board meetings that I've attended since I've been on the council. And, it was, during their time of year when they were approving some of the different organizations, for the amount of money that the rec board is given to them, like the junior rodeo and, I can't remember what the other one was. But I had been approached by a citizen in reference to pickleball. I had prompted them to go to the rec board to talk about pickleball further with the rec board. And, they've been traveling to Upton, and, they just want to see something a little bit closer to Newcastle. And then I just didn't know if any of the other council members or anybody's heard anything further about the donation of land for the pickleball court.
I believe we're waiting for the person who wants to donate the land to come to executive session with the council to discuss it, so.
Okay. I mean, I guess could you contact her and we could try to get a parks committee meeting to further discuss that? But
It was already approved, wasn't it? Huh? Did she already approve for it to be? I thought she did.
well, she came to a council meeting and discussed it with us, and that's
I mean,
as
I
far
thought
as.
she was all for this.
I think that she is, but I think
Well,
that we have to
let's
formally
let's-
approve.
Let's talk to her.
Yeah, let's update with her. That's why I was looking at you finally. I thought we already had that coming.
So she just came to the council meeting and told us that that was her intent, but I think that's as far as it's gotten.
If I remember correctly, I think we were gonna double check that there weren't any stipulations that were gonna be tied to that. If, say, the pickleball court failed in the future, that we would be obligated to keep it that way. That's what I recall last.
Yeah, I wondered,
Madam Mayor, I do know the concrete has been poured, so that's where the site is actually at. There is the full pack cord, that's it.
well, let's update with her and see.
So anyway, it was a fun meeting. It was good to get to the rec board meeting. And then, I also found out that pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the nation. And I also have visited some other communities in the southwest corner of Wyoming that put in their own pickleball courts. And, actually one of the communities, the mayor, actually helped them pour the concrete. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I was like, I did? I didn't.
No, this was in the community of Opal. They got a pickleball court. Population 62.
They can barely make up a game.
No, that's all I had to report down there.
Well, you're gonna update with her.
Yeah, I'll report back at the next meeting if that's okay.
That'd
I
be
can't set
perfect, thank
the
you.
record for the quickest meeting now, because we have.
Moving on to department head reports, city attorney Dublin Hughes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So first off, I have the agenda ordinance that I drafted up. I just wanted the council's opinion. Is there anything that you guys wanted to change on this? Is there?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you have item number A, invocation. We don't do that now, and I would love to have that back, but I don't know why it was taking, you know, why it stopped happening here.
No, I think it was Mayor Piana that made that decision not to do that.
So, but I would love to see that back. And then I thought that old business and new business, should go also up before, department head reports. So, but that's just my opinion.
So but the way you've written it, Dublin, we can amend this by resolution, if we decide to change it in the future,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so that we don't have to go through the whole reading process again.
I think that's really cool, thank you. I like that.
So where is department?
I think that's the officers and boards. Is that what?
The what?
Yeah, that's the,
Oh, the reports
I
of
kept the same.
officers and boards,
yeah, I
okay.
kept the same
Gotcha.
languages.
Okay. And
And then you want old and new before that?
I would think old and new should be before that, don't you think? I'm just thinking that if we have citizens here, some of them might be here that
Get
hear
it
the
done
old,
first and.
you know, the old business,
So move old business ahead of committee reports,
And new
old
before?
and new business before committee reports.
Old business would end up being G, and then H would be new business with reports of officers and boards being I.
And do we have to add a K for adjourn, or is that, do we have to have that on there?
It's not required, I can put it in there. The council so pleases.
Old and new go before committee. What's F now? Listen to us. What's F?
That would be old business.
Oh,
So I move that we approve, or that we commence with the first reading of ordinance number 1, series 2024, using the order of business that was just discussed.
With the amendments there too, a little illegal talk there.
Just to clarify, so there's no issue on A through
E.
E. F would be old business, G would be new business, and then H would be reports,
Committee.
or committee reports.
I is committee. Yeah, department heads or whatever you want to call them.
With J claims, against, and then K.
Well, do we need to leave?
Wouldn't that be great if Commerce could do business like that? Just kidding, yeah.
No, executive session's by
That's
statute.
2,000 pages in there.
Is there a second?
Do we have a second?
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Stacy, I'll get you an updated version of that. Thank you. The other thing I need to discuss with the council is that we did have our hearing with UBC precast. It was a default hearing. They didn't show up as we predicted. The judgment total for that was $48,189.10. Seeing that amount and seeing that that will have to be collected in Idaho, I would like permission from the council to start researching for a Idaho law firm to enter the foreign judgment in Idaho.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Would you be able to look up some there or get references for that for us to look at?
I guess this is kind of an odd ask because some of the law firms that you're gonna find, just like any state, are gonna be obviously much cheaper, but that also comes with some other issues. So I don't know if it would be better if Stacy worked on it or I, and it doesn't matter particularly for me, so.
Attorney Hughes, so the amount that you put in for was for the replacement of the precast building. If we go further with litigation, in Idaho, can we add more to cover the attorney fees?
So attorney's fees weren't agreed upon in the contract, and usually, they're pretty hard to get otherwise. You have to show, basically massive, malfeasance, it's a phrase, in terms of the contract. This is just not execution of the contract, right?
That's not massive.
Well, it is, but not to the extent that attorney's fees are usually given, at least in my experience. The amount that I was seeking, when we went into district court, there was basically an argument, and I went in and started discussing what I thought would end up being reasonable. The amount that I took them in under the default complaint was much more. However, when it was finally brought up, when I was making my theory as to the $70,000 or $80,000, he basically said, that's enough. So, the reasoning for that is that usually liquidated damages and actual damages aren't given out dually.
So, if we were to move forward with litigation in another state and the attorney fees got to be too costly, would it benefit the city to continue with this? If we were gonna be awash for attorney fees and the cost of the building,
Yeah, so one of the things, with hiring a law firm, at least if they're a principal law firm, they would tell us beforehand, hey, this guy is going bankrupt, this guy is, no longer owns property, he has multiple liens against him, and would tell us. This is one of the issues with getting a judgment in general, is that sometimes, as often as it actually comes about, even winning that case, I think we were in court 8 minutes for probably 10 hours of preparation that I did. The thing with it is it just comes down to whether or not he actually has any sort of money. From what I've seen, his website is still functioning. However, there is also, from some of the discussions we've had with the funding with this project, that the company itself has actually entered into other contracts which they've defaulted on, and there are also other judgments. So,
so we might not stand, even if we pursue this into Idaho, we might not stand to get any of our money back.
But it won't hurt for us to contact an attorney out there first. So I think we should still.
I'm not opposed to contact another attorney and see
But we don't
But-
wanna go into any more debt,
for something that,
right?
We-
If we're not gonna get anything back.
yeah.
well, the thing with filing a foreign judgment, at least in Wyoming, obviously I can't do it in Idaho because I'm not licensed in Idaho, hence why I'm asking for the council's approval on this. It's usually not some massive undertaking that's, a 5-year legal claim. It's usually, at least in my experience, it's something like a year, and just depending on the size of the judgment. What happens is there's a process for the court in whatever jurisdiction that you're in to enter the judgment, recognize it basically, and then the sheriffs go about putting liens and citing different properties within that jurisdiction. Seeing that the amount is $48,000, I would recommend to the council to at least attempt it. An Idaho attorney will be able to tell us more about whether or not he actually is solvent or not.
How much does it cost to get you licensed in Iowa?
Maybe that would be the best one.
Is it the right one?
He's
That's
checking
the
right
right
now.
one, I think.
Another question is, I mean, as a municipality, does any of our insurance coverage cover us for somebody defaulting on something or somebody not providing a service? I mean, are we not protected somehow from bad actors that do this kind of stuff?
For making a bad purchase?
Well, I mean, we tried to make the
Make a bad
purchase in good
purchase.
faith.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry.
I think our,
I would,
seeing that.
yeah, I would.
there was a liability that
Okay, so-
covers liability for the city.
So I
If
just looked
somebody
up
else-
the company.
I don't know if we get coverage vice versa.
Who, that precast company?
Yeah, so I was curious because he said, you know, they're still in business, whatever. Well, their website says permanently closed. So. So I don't know if we could still
If-
do, like you said, have liens on stuff.
If they file bankruptcy, they might be able to, we might be able to get something.
Yeah, let's-
Bankruptcy.
Yeah, so if we're gonna do something, we better do it quick.
We gotta file that thing pretty quick,
Yeah, that's at least relatively recent, because at the time of, at least a few days before the actual court date, on their website, they were at least still operating, or they just didn't do something with their website, could also be a possibility, but.
So I would move that we have Attorney Hughes move forward with contacting a law firm in Idaho.
I second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I guess we should try.
And quickly. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor, thank you.
I have a question for you. Have you had a chance at all to work on an MOU with the fence sprockets and the skate park, bike park?
No. One of the things I thought was going to happen there was that either they were gonna come in or someone was going to give me some specifics as to what is wanted in that.
Maybe the Parks Committee, and Ben Sprockets can maybe start working on something at our next meeting. Does that sound good? Okay. All right, I'll get in touch with them and maybe we can meet before Matt with Alvarez has something for us. Okay. That's all I have for city attorney. Any other questions for?
Thanks, Dalton.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to City Clerk Treasurer Stacy. Heather?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had sent out an outline of the budget process. Department heads have been given the budget worksheets. I'm hoping that April 8th will work for everybody for the budget workshop. Anybody has a specific time to start earlier, the better, probably.
Yeah, because it does take a couple hours. Yes. We want to do like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Up to.
Is an hour enough to handle? No, so probably earlier. Yeah.
I was just wondering what time you think.
I mean, it's
Let's
an
say
hour.
5:30.
What would you suggest for time limits? Like,
5:30.
It took us a couple.
What
about you,
It took
Dawn?
us a couple hours last time, 3 hours.
Donnie, can you get there?
Yeah, you too.
So 5 PM
Let's
to,
go 5, is that okay with you guys? Stacy?
And I would, if, the council is okay with this, I would like to, put in my letter to the service providers that they are invited to come to that workshop. It may save some time later on if they can be here to answer questions.
And try to get them done first.
What day is that?
April 8th.
April
5
8th,
o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Thank you. And I also had, sent out and have a copy of the new, WEBT, employee insurance coverages. Things have increased a little bit. Mhm. And I just need to let them know if we do accept these new rates.
I mean, we'd about have to, right, if we wanna still have coverage for our people.
You said $1,833, Stacy. Is that, how much money is it? I'm looking at the renewal rates of 2 adults, 1,800 for man and his wife.
That's a monthly premium.
That's a monthly premium. Wow. Is this the best we can do?
For that deductible, I believe so.
Anybody check out Obamacare? Man, that's outrageous.
I move that we accept the new insurance rates for our employees.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? So this is the only company you go with?
I can look into other companies. It's obviously what we've had.
I was listening to the school boards minutes last week and the same thing,
Yep, same thing.
same thing.
Everything's going up.
Yeah.
Their
this is the same
insurance,
thing.
I know the insurance went up for
That's
them
the
big
last
time.
one was Steve. Yeah.
Well, you just gotta be sure they use it for service. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Thank you. And then the last thing I have was just to remind the council of the public officer training scheduled for the 11th from 1 to 5 at the Weston County Event Center.
Have we had, any response back from any of the boards that?
They actually, Vicki Hayman has opened it up to other, so they're registering with her.
Okay.
If we need to register for that, how do we go about that?
To contact Vicki, and I can get you that phone number there.
Okay, thank you.
Questions for Susan?
Thanks, Stacy.
Moving on to Public Works Supervisor Gregson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To continue with the Del Park bathroom project, we did meet with the funding agency, the LWCF. Moving forward, we have three options. One, we can just abandon the project and start over later. We can amend the budget, or request an amendment to the budget and adjust the budget for current numbers. We would still have to take, they gave us half of the payment we paid to UBC. We would still have to pay them back basically in short in order to go forward with a budget amendment. So work will be solely out the money instead of that. They are okay without going to bid, so we don't have to bid it a second time if the state statutes will allow us to do that. We can sole source if we so desire. We have done the underground plumbing, so we might have to do some changing on that, we'll have to see. I called and got a quote based on the original bid that CXT, the company that did the project. And right now, it's $116,420 for the bathroom. At that part, versus what we were going to pay.
Does that include what we have to pay back the other?
No, that's just what the new building's gonna cost.
What was that amount?
$116,420. The original bid, I wanna say, was around $80,000. He looked back at what we did the first time and sent me a quote for basically the same thing we did the first time.
So if we rebid it, put bids out again,
If we have to rebid because of the state statute. If we do not have to rebid, we can accept the quote because they were the second bidder in the project, for the project. The federal requirements do not require us to rebid.
How many square feet in this building?
It is 10-foot 3 by 17-foot.
170
It's-
square feet.
It's the soccer field bathroom is what it is.
Oh, CXT is what did the soccer field bathroom?
So that's a,
What, that was their original bid?
No, the original bid was around $80,000.
Oh, so
Due to
it's,
inflation and everything else we're dealing with, the price went up.
we're talking $1,164 roughly a square foot. And over $1,000 a square foot. Come on, people. Now, we've got people in this town that can build something cheaper than that, hopefully, out of concrete.
Are we building to plans that were presented, that we have, or is this?
We basically went off their plans because, honestly, we agree with them. Stainless steel fixtures on the inside, all the plumbing is actually in the mechanical room, so there's nothing in there that anybody can really mess with. Yeah, these things are tougher than what vandals can be, I guess. They have built-in automatic flushers and the faucet shut-offs, so nobody can flood the bathrooms like what we've seen in the past.
Do we have to have a bathroom then?
Yeah,
Can we just have a It's a lot of money.
so, I mean, so the idea is to stay with a precast building because of ease of maintenance and vandalism, right?
Yes.
But I mean, wouldn't it be possible to look into some kind of a stick-built building or something? Or maybe a building like Councilman Voss suggested with concrete walls?
Well, John Francis.
Because I mean,
You know, he
we
just,
built all the pressure control stations out of concrete.
Yeah, the thing about this one is it's turnkey. In 3 days, we can have a bathroom up and running. And that's from the time it shows up till the time the water starts flowing. That's the big advantage to these. That and they're bulletproof. I mean, they're nice. They're easy to maintain. Typically, we go in there, wash everything down once or twice a day, depending on what's going on or what kind of events are going on. We don't have to worry about stick-built buildings. You got to worry about mold and this kind of stuff. That's why we go precast or block walls, so we can literally wash it off and be done with it.
I mean, wouldn't it be acceptable to maybe look for some bids for maybe block construction or concrete walls of dairy board? I mean, and see what the cost comparison is?
I guess at this point, would you rather have a Parks Committee meeting where you can kind of hash out some of this there? We do have to give LWCF some kind of indication as whether we're gonna move forward or not. So we can either
We have to
request
have
more
a
time and
Parks
amend.
committee meeting anyway to talk with about the pickleball court. So I mean, I think it would be in order to have this added to the agenda.
And I will see what I can get for prices in the meantime from local contractors with, block and that kind of stuff. John Francis.
Yeah, John.
He's a great guy.
I mentioned him.
He does awesome work, but it's difficult to get prices for stuff like this, so.
Well, I mean, and it might not be that big of a difference between the prices, but I just think personally that it might be worth
That's just a
investigating.
lot of money for a bathroom.
Plus, we have to pay off that other one. How much was that payment that we had to pay first?
We already paid it $31,205, so half of
Excuse
it.
me. Add that to it.
That's what the judgment was for.
Oh, I would say have your Parks Committee and then we'll put it on the agenda for.
Before next meeting,
Yeah.
would you,
If the council wouldn't mind, I would like to be able to send something to Janet Jarris with LWCF requesting more time on our contract so we can make some decisions. We're just about out of time. We've only got like 4 months left and the project has to be completed or we might revert back. She said we could extend it up for a year, year and a half if we wanted to.
so I would move that the Public Works Supervisor Stumpf, ask for more time from the LWCF folks.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Thanks for looking into that
Yeah.
and getting us more time, Greg.
Yeah, we had a meeting last Wednesday, so there wasn't much time to really look into too much of the original second bidder, so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
The second item I have, we met with the personnel committee concerning the city engineer position. We have a finalized job description and advertisement. I think we might have a couple of interested engineers. So I would request to open the city engineer position up for applications and resumes.
I move that we open up the city engineer position and advertise for it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing I ask is, after we make a vote on this, just need to know what we're going to do for interviews. So keep that in mind.
Gonna do for what?
Interviews, because it is a council appointed position, so.
You can have them come here and interview panelists and questions.
Okay.
I mean, since we couldn't procure a city planner, I'm glad that we're moving forward with getting an engineer, and I appreciate everybody's hard work in putting together the job description. Thank you.
On the personnel committee, I certainly, I'm not on that committee, but I'd like to see that the engineer that we hire can, to do a lot of the engineering work that the city needs, because the last city engineer we had, we still hired engineers everywhere, thousands and thousands of dollars every year. And if we're gonna pay this kind of money for a guy to come in here and be an engineer, let's be sure he is one.
That's what, yeah.
That's
He
what
didn't-
the job
he didn't-
description.
He didn't read it.
Yes.
It's-
Councilman Foss,
you have
it is in the
It was
job
too long, I couldn't get to it before.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Other than that, is there any questions from the reports?
Should we put a,
Who's putting the note out about the parks meeting?
well, we got the Parks Committee meeting, if you wanna look at.
What was the date on that again?
Well, we have to have it before our next meeting, which is the 18th.
We haven't set a date yet.
I know, but we need
I
to,
can.
I know, but he just asked.
what works for the Parks Committee.
I think I can meet anytime this week, after 4 o'clock.
Friday's not good, but I can meet any other day.
What about you, John?
What about you, John?
And what day?
And
What
what day is
day would work this week? Any day?
I think any day would.
Okay, any day but Friday this week. What do you got?
Yeah, no, we can meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So
Thank you, for time.
I would say probably Thursday, I recommend Thursday anyway, 5 o'clock. That way maybe I can get a hold of some of the contractors and see what their interest would be to bid this building.
Thursday at what time?
5.
5.
And that would be the 7th. I do have one question. Can we put a date on when applications are due for your city engineer?
It's the council's decision, but I would recommend until position's filled.
I have a question on this, thing here, Greg. The city engineer job description. Back here where it says, professional certified or registration as a professional civil engineer in the state of Wyoming. That shouldn't we add, if they don't have one, that they could get one within a year? What we have to do is take the test.
I think reciprocity actually takes less time than that. It should be like a month or 2 that they could get a reciprocity. I kind of quizzed interim engineer Bartlett about it. He said it doesn't take me any time at all to get a reciprocity from one state to another.
But that should be in here so they don't, somebody from out of state say, oh, I don't qualify for that.
Yeah, no, in the state of Wyoming, in order to engineer and submit plans to DEQ, places we would, they have to have a Wyoming stamp.
Yeah,
So what he's saying is,
give them a time frame to get certified.
We can definitely have that if that's the pleasure of the council.
Add the part about,
Or be able to get it within a certain.
I mean,
Is that what
that's,
you're saying?
that's fine, right? Yeah,
Well, it's not good.
just to make everything clear, right?
Yeah.
And then, and give opportunity for us to get some qualified staff. Yeah, I would be on board with that, John. I think that's a good suggestion.
There's so many people in Rapid City at school minds and stuff that maybe want to quit teaching or get their master's degree and they're looking for a place to go. Yeah, but they're not certified over here in the state of Wyoming.
so just has to have the Wyoming, if out of state,
Right.
so needs to have Wyoming certification within 3 months.
That do takes tests.
That's question. Okay, sorry, I should have talked about that in discussion, but it hit me later. And then, anything else?
I'll send out the request for, the Parks meeting. We received the, permit to construct application from the engineers for the, Duff Avenue sewer project. So, we haven't done it in the past, but if it pleases council, I request that allow the mayor to sign the permit to construct for the Duff Avenue sewer project, so we can get the plans off to DEQ.
I would move that we have the mayor sign the permit to construct for the Duff Avenue sewer project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm excited for this project. It's been quite the ride to get to this point.
You and me both, 25 years of crawling on that thing, I'm done.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Any questions for city supervisor? Moving on to police chief Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have my calls for service since February 21st of this year. Newcastle Police fielded 155 calls, Weston County Sheriff's Office 95 calls, Upton Police Department 22 calls, Newcastle Volunteer Fire Department 6 calls, Upton Volunteer Fire Department 1 call, Weston County Fire Protection District 4 calls, Newcastle Ambulance 19 calls, and Upton Ambulance 0 calls. Second item of business is I neglected to give dispatcher Allison Stevens a raise when she completed the basic academy in November. So I would request a 50-cent raise for her backdated to November 10th, 2023, if that's possible. They brought this to my attention recently. I just overlooked it.
Can we do that?
Sure. I would move that we give our dispatcher,
Allison Stevens.
Allison Stevens, her 50-cent raise from completing the dispatcher academy, basic academy, backdated to November 10th.
Seconded.
There's a motion and second. Any further discussion?
She deserves to get her pay backdated to when she completed the training. So it's good that she completed the basic training and that she's a dispatcher for our community.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Thank you. Just a couple notes, I guess. We'll be moving into the new dispatch center on Wednesday, the 6th. So our cutover day is that day. All of the remaining equipment will be moved over and the dispatchers will be moved over. So we'll be all occupying the new building. And as far as the Joint Powers Board, they're currently reimbursing the city for the dispatcher's wages, but as soon as Sheriff Collard finishes up getting the insurance stuff figured out, then we will take over the payroll, so we don't have to pay them any longer. And that's all I had for today.
Any questions for Chief?
It was interesting when he was removed. There's quite a few people that will remember my comments at the time because it came after Ogden, reportedly, I guess you should say, because it was reported and then they claimed that he claimed that didn't happen, but we all saw the letters where he made the chairmans of the board sign that we're going to do this and that and the other thing, and we're not going to disobey. And
we're not going to disobey. I love that. I love that part. We're not going to disobey.
Pretty much. That's what I got
Yeah.
from it. Reading it is, aye, Captain, we will follow your rule. It kind of made me look a little different at Driscoll. And then this year's made
Well,
it
and you
even.
didn't just look different. Come on. You gave him a nickname even.
I gave him a nickname. He was saved in my phone still to this day as Dictator Driscoll. And I still don't feel bad about that because Weston County hasn't seen him once leading up to this session.
Moving on to old business, number 1, Collins Communication and Central Community College lease agreement.
told me to, 31.
So when we talked about this last, we discussed the rent. And they agreed on the increase.
Yeah, they, actually in negotiating, both of the parties, CWC and Collins Communications, basically just said, sure. And
I asked for more.
Excellent, then I would move that we have the mayor sign Collins Communications and Central Community College lease agreement.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Moving on to standing committee reports.
Did you want to report on that, Donnie, or?
Yeah, we can go through the minutes and stuff that we had for the personnel committee. Touched on a few items tonight with Greg and that, but, so the first one was, discussion with clerk treasurer on assistant deputy position. Harry spoke to the committee about pending retirement for Becky. And she asked for a person and has a person in mind for this position, would like to have this person work in the office part-time to help train this person. So we, as a committee, agreed that this would help. Just not only giving a 2-week notice when Becky's ready to retire, but giving this person the ability to work in the office. You know, we got budget coming up at the first part of the year, and then right after that is gonna be starting into our audits session, and some of that stuff would be useful for this new person that might be taking over.
Good idea.
So in that portion of it, we would, recommend that she would be able to hire the person that she got in mind for this position as a part-time basis to help train.
And this person works for the city now.
Yes, that's what I understand.
She currently does our meter reading.
And when our meter readings go to, electronic, so she won't be losing her job, she'll be in another one, is that?
That's, if things work out well for her to be in the office, that's my hope.
Was that the recommendation of the committee then?
Yeah, that was what we kind of agreed with, and said we'd bring it up to council to basically have her go ahead and hire this person as their part-time to work in the office to help her out for this transition period.
She still be working with the city crew?
Yes, Madam Mayor, she primarily reads meters.
And that's part-time, so she'll actually be a full-time employee, just.
Not until, if she fits in well and then if, I'll obviously request to have her full-time at that point in time, but we could still spare her for that, meter reading period. So we won't really lose that as an employee for public works.
So,
she's 2 part-time jobs? I mean, that's
I would like to have her just start coming into the office maybe 40 hours a month right
Oh,
now
okay.
until Becky's closer to actually
just
getting
to kind
her.
of get familiar.
so we're not gonna advertise for the position, we're just gonna hire it in-house? Is that the recommendation?
That's the hope if, that's my hope if things work out well. But
That's the committee,
Yeah.
that's what we
Recommendation.
decided.
Okay. Well, I forgot her name. It's Jessie Meadows.
Yeah, Amber.
Amber. So, I would move that we, hire Amber Retto, part-time for the city office so that she can train towards taking over the deputy clerk position.
If it's okay, to add the hourly rate, she's currently $15 an hour.
At the rate of $15 an hour.
Starting, let's see, March 15th.
Starting March 15th.
Okay.
Thank you.
It just sounded like I had a speech
Fill in the
impediment.
Fill in the blanks.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I know she's been in there helping quite a bit and she's done really well every time I've seen her in the office, so I think it's a good choice. Hopefully it works out. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
The second one, Stump had mentioned on the engineering position, we went through 3 different job applicant or descriptions and kind of took some wording out of each one of them and combined them and created the one that was presented tonight, to kind of get some wording across all 3 of them into a good one we thought was going to be good. In that piece, we figured we wanted to try to get an engineer back in because we weren't very successful getting a planner into the position. One thing that we kind of discussed, is once we get these out, we haven't really kind of talked about salary for this position. Some things that we kind of discussed, for how many years an engineer would be in this field before they came to here. Might probably be looking at $90,000 to $100,000 salary for this when we're looking at this. So we were all in agreement too that we needed to open this up for a engineer position and not sending all of our engineering out of the house.
Well, if we're not sending it all in the house, we're saving money.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It would go in their pay, so
Yep.
I agree.
And to get someone qualified in, we're gonna have to pay them.
Yeah. So the next one was, we've discussed was bringing back the public works foreman position. Did look over some job description of that and looking at hiring within, looking at, the interview processes for this also. Mainly this position was removed from the previous engineer. Right now, public works person with the stump is basically taking on 2 different roles covering these. And trying to put this position back in play to relieve some of the work that he's kind of doing now. And I think he's been doing a good job at trying to keep up with some of the projects we've been trying to push across, and then trying to keep up with maintaining the public works day-to-day task. So we kind of felt this was also needed to bring back, and then start looking at hiring this from within, looking at the interview process to see if we hire within the groups that's already we have hired.
Only that'll free him up to do.
Anybody check to see if we have the money to do this?
Well, it would be a position in the next budget, right?
Yes, my intent was to start this position July 1st. So we would budget for next year's, budget for this extra pay in this position next year.
I would move that we reinstate the foreman position at the city shop.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I think that's probably what's been missing from your life for a while now, Greg. So,
But it's kept you out of trouble.
nobody can do it all by themselves, so it's good
There's too much.
to spread it out amongst the crew.
Councilman Boss, not necessarily.
Okay, I guess I'm not informed.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay.
Did we need to make a motion on the engineer's salary at this time?
Maybe once the fire department would know what we're gonna put on that.
I know that we talked to you, once it goes out, once you start getting applicants, that's gonna be one of the first things they're gonna ask, you know, might well apply, but what's the pay?
So it should be agreed upon before we start advertising.
Well, we could have a starting, or we could have depending on.
Yeah, depending on
experience.
experience.
I would probably do the DOE.
Set a low on time and put,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's always gonna wanna know what they're being paid before they're coming in to interview for a job. That's the main reason they're gonna be wanting to get a job. If they don't know what the pay is, and they're coming in to interview, it's not a really good expectation right away.
Well, we can advertise
lower
the
it.
low, we can advertise the low and then
Starting
negotiate.
or depending on experience.
What was the previous engineer getting paid? Isn't it 78,000 or something like
I
that?
was thinking 72, Tyrell, but I'd have to look back, but that's what sticks out in my mind.
And you're recommending.
We were just looking at potential with engineering, with that type of background and doing that type of work was gonna be somewhere in that 90 to 100, and then kind of getting some information off of our current engineer that we're utilizing right now with Bartlett.
I think you'd be a great one to have here during the interview process.
So
Madam
we stand,
Mayor, I agree. I really believe Chuck should be involved in this. So, with his background and his experience, so.
we stand to save a lot of money if we hire a qualified applicant that's actually gonna do some engineering.
Right.
So, and with the new job description, so that they aren't having to spend all that time on oversight of the city crew. I think that they'll have time to do that. So I think this is a great idea, I'm excited. So, do we wanna make a motion to set the salary at $90,000 or $100,000?
Should we set it at 90 and then if he says, well, will you give me 100?
I like that idea, and depending on experience. Yeah. 85 depending on experience.
So $85,000 to start, and then depending on experience.
What are you gonna say, Mr. Dirk? Did you have something, you're thinking about
well,
it?
he said 85,000 to start, it's not,
No, not to start, it's just
that's what he
that,
said.
Yeah, maybe did I word it wrong?
So 85 would be the floor. And then depending on experience up from there.
good words, the floor.
85 to.
That's what we're
$85,000 starting.
Let's
and then
just advertise it
depending
at
on
85.
experience.
You make it sound like he's starting at that salary.
Yeah, we don't, that's not a promise necessarily, but
So I thought it was just
I think we should be advertised depending on experience.
There should be a
but
salary
when they
range.
call, we could get a salary range.
okay.
That's what.
So 85,000 up to 100,000,
Depending on experience.
depending on experience. I would move that we advertise the engineer's position at $85,000 up to $100,000, depending on experience.
I second that.
Do we have a motion on the floor already?
He's making one.
No, I mean, he had one before too.
It was
No, we
in
were-
process.
We were talking if we
Okay.
should do Okay, so, we have a motion and second, any further discussion?
We stand to save a lot of money as a city entity if this position, even at $100,000, actually does the engineering in-house. We stand to save a lot of money. So that's that was kind of the process to come to this decision, I would think, through the personnel committee. Thank you, that's all I have.
I know. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, I had one part. Okay.
Okay, and the last one, pretty productive little committee meeting.
Got more.
Yeah. So, met with Chief Thompson, discussed the administrative position. Chief Thompson presented the job description for the administrative position that would include child forensic interviewing. The committee discussed the position and the number of hours and the pay. The committee all recommended that the job be a full-time position, an hourly rate pay rather than a salary. Mainly because when we start talking a little bit more detail on potential what this person would be doing, and then trying to fluctuate the hours, more hours one week, and then trying to give them time off or comp time for the next week, we felt it would probably be better for the chief to manage as an hourly position than that salary. At the time, the chief was gonna continue working on the documentation for this one, but we were all in favor of it at the time that this position would benefit the department.
Much as the department of the community.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
I haven't done much further other than to, and I didn't bring the updated job description, but to change it to full-time. And then, one of the things I guess we didn't really touch on was the rate. And I like Darren's idea that we do a range depending on experience. I had a pay scale set for, I think I had that position coined as records clerk in my salary schedule, but that's not really what this entails, quite a bit more than what a records clerk would do. So I would say, I think $20 to $25 an hour would be the salary range depending on experience. That's what I guess I would request.
And what would that position actually be called?
Administrative position, but I don't know how you'd want to word that position with that child.
I worded the job description as administrative assistant and child advocacy coordinator.
So that's the recommendation of the committee, is that we add this position. And then the recommendation of the chief that we advertise it for wage depending on experience of $20 to $25.
Correct.
Okay, I would make a motion that we add the administrator / child advocacy coordinator position at a wage range of $20 to $25 depending on experience.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and second, any further discussion?
Has
I have a
that been a
question.
part of your budget, chief?
What's that?
Do you have that in your budget? Is that all something that we can cover? Or?
Well,
We don't have dispatch.
pending we don't have any more big surprises, I think we'll be okay.
So I have a question. Child advocacy coordinator. So the 3 women that were in the paper last week, Pam included, will you be under her? I mean, is that what she's gonna coordinate?
No, we're under the court.
You're under court.
Oh, are you talking about guardian
I mean,
item stuff?
Yeah, so that doesn't have
That's
anything to do. this
Entirely
is
different, yeah.
Totally different.
Completely different.
The phrase
So
child
coordinate,
advocacy gets blurred a lot, and this is child forensic interviewing.
okay,
So you are an advocate for the child, but you are in
so that's
in
what
the
it
essence
is.
of you are gathering evidence from a child that can be presented in court. Yeah. So there's other advocate positions for children that are through the court system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is mainly just interview type stuff.
Yes.
So is she gonna be okay, or, I guess I can't say that, because we don't know.
We have problems already, we don't need to do that.
No, I don't even need to go there. Thank you.
So this is something that we farm out currently, right? Like we have to take people to Rapid City or Casper.
Yeah.
So, and it costs a substantial amount, right?
So Casper actually does not charge. Rapid City charges, I think the last time we got a bill, it was $250 some odd dollars. Plus you have to send an officer over there, so you got travel time, on and on and on. The difference being is when they're that readily available, it allows you to use them much more frequently, and it solidifies a lot more cases for you.
So it saves on logistics of sending people out of
It's gonna turn
state
out
and
much
out
more
of town.
quality criminal investigations as well.
So it's enhancing you guys' ability to do your job here locally.
Yep, it's admittedly a luxury, because most departments don't have that, but it will set us apart from the rest, and it will give us something we can offer other departments help with.
As we discussed in your presentation at the last council meeting, so, I mean, I think that having qualified people move to our community to enhance our community in this manner is a good move on your part, chief. I think it's a good move on the council's part to be part of that, so,
It's just sad
thank
that
you.
that's needed.
What's that?
It's just very sad that something like that is needed.
It is, but it's
It's
definitely.
Yeah, but that's been there, it's, I mean, that's been,
It's just
neat.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
We also had a water and sewer committee meeting. We don't have any recommendations for the council at this time. This is just, for your knowledge. We talked about the meter testing ordinance, and we're trying to make some updates to the meter testing ordinance. We also talked about water sales outside of the city limits, and we also talked about ordinance chapter 26. It has a bunch of antiquated language and references to positions that we don't even have in the city of Newcastle anymore. So we need to reconvene as a committee and discuss the proposed changes, and then we should be ready to speak at the next council meeting and make a recommendation for the changes. And if the council's receptive to those changes, then we can have Attorney Hughes update the ordinances. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, any other committee reports? Any new business?
There's the open house and the party for the,
What's that?
yeah, there was your open house and your party for your new police department.
You missed it.
I knew I probably missed it. Yeah, guy goes to sleep one night, you know?
You're having an open house?
We haven't planned on it. We could at some point.
You are now?
Let me get a few things.
Dispatch hasn't moved in.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Well, they're moving in Wednesday, we can have a party Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, claims against the city dated March 4th, 2024.
Your Honor, I move that we pay our bill.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
With a motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, adjourned at 8:28. Thank you.